Welcome to Channel AMIC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Now, are you interested about migration to Australia? Perhaps you should consider to subscribe to our channel and turn on a little bell on the side, so once we have all the news, just like now, you'll be the first one getting all the insights. Okay, now, today is the 9th of March 2021, and the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, had just been on to the actual news content in regards to migration program. Perhaps this may give you a little bit of hints of what's coming up and what's gonna happen in Australia. So let's jump into the actual news content that I want to share with you. Okay, so as you can see here, this is coming straight from SBS News, which the stage was, I think, somewhat in Canberra. That the Scott Morrison has saying that government has open mind. That means they wanted to have more idea how to attract more migrants into Australia on the post-coronavirus migration overhaul. Now, overhaul basically means they wanted to catch up with the net migration program because, as you know, 2 years ago, the government of Australia had announced to cut down the net migration program, and unfortunately, they actually met with the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, which had caused a lot of problems. So let's read on, and we will digest and assess what actually meant for you, perhaps. And I think this is actually very advantageous to all the migrants. So the pandemic has stalled Australia's migration program. The net intake expected to fall into negative level the first time since World War II. So as you can see, the news came out 1 hour ago. Let me just adjust this over a bit. Okay, you can read that. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says Australia must think about temporary visa holder can meet workforce shortage as the Australian economy recovers from coronavirus pandemic. He made a comment addressing the Australian Financial Review, so that's the summit, the business summit right today, in a speech focusing on growing the economy out of recession. So as you can see, although there has been a lot of positive figure in regards to Australia in comparison to the rest of the world, but it's still considered the economy is in recession because, as you know, in the past, Australia has been growing positively for the last 27 years. So as a cycle, it has now turned into a downside where, as a continent of the 6th largest continent in the world and only had about 25 million populations, Australia really needs more people to work the nation up. Okay, the pandemic has stalled Australian migration program with the net migration intake expected to fall negatively first time in World War II. So Mr. Morrison said the government had to keep an open mind. So this is a very important sentence here. You need to keep an open mind on overhauling the migration program following this impacts, meaning that the Australian government is looking to catching up to get the economy back. Although there has been a lot of good news about Australia, but in fact, after March, obviously the JobKeeper and all that program is going to cease. So a lot of things will require in debt to be overcome. Okay, we must relook at the role of temporary visa holder playing to meet the economy workforce requirement where Australia do not fill these jobs. He said that rather than taking Australian job, we need. So a lot of political debate for the past 2 to 5 years are all about taking the local Australians' job away from, as migrants are taking all the skilled works and positions. But now, the Prime Minister had announced this, saying that rather than taking Australian jobs, we need instead appreciate how feeling critical workforce shortage with temporary visa holder can actually create jobs elsewhere in the economy, and in particular sustain growth and services in our regional economy. So I think this is very, very positive because over the past few years, up to 5 to 6 years, the global politics are or focus on more conservative side where local job workforces due to elections are more worried about migrants coming into the country and taking the jobs away. I think that's the same apply to the United States as well. So now I think this is a very important sentence that the Prime Minister of Scott Morrison had made in regards to telling the Australians that they're not coming here to take the jobs away. They're coming here to help and boost the economy, and where else economy in particular sustain growth and services in regional economies. I can assure you that we won't go away when pandemic ends. I can assure you this won't go, and that means the bad thing is still gonna be there because it's the damage was already been made. So looking into the tourism industry, hospitality industry, and all the other industry, that's all related due to the pandemic. Okay, the latest federal budget had estimated a loss of 72,000 people from migration intake of 2020-21 financial year. So they had lost their target point. So meaning that I think they were looking into 160,000. So if they are 72,000 less, that means they have less than 100,000 migrants intake this year, and that's extremely bad. But again, it goes into a lot of economy recovery, and you can refer back to all my previous video in regards to how the criteria had changed, and a lot of migrants had shifted the way. So a net overseas migration is not expected to return positive level until 2022 and 23. So that's 2 years away. So that what they're looking into is within these 2 years, they are looking into different and newly established programs to actually enhance and encourage more migrants to come into Australia. So, for example, the agriculture industry had the hard hit with the shortage of 22,000 workers in horticulture alone. Now, horticulture is big because we have been promoting horticulture in Adelaide. So if you're in Adelaide, horticulture, I think this will be a key element to Adelaide as well. Mr. Morrison said the government could consider reviewing visa classes for sectors such as agriculture and hospitality. Yeah, here we go, which has been reliant on temporary visa holder. What I'm saying is that we have got a very open mind on this. So again, what the Prime Minister of Australia is looking to have an innovative approach. As you know, a pandemic doesn't come in a century. So once in a century, Australia is looking for a way to actually overcome the current economic status. This is a clear area where I think we're going to have lean more forward. I see this as a value add when Australia won't do the jobs, still need to be done, as Mr. Morrison says. So that's the actual news content. Basically, they recorded all the sentences that the Prime Minister Scott Morrison has said today at the Financial Review Business Summit. I think it's very important because it's a key milestone where the government of Australia has waken up, obviously due to all the vaccination has arrived. They're looking into a major economic positive growth through an introduction of series of migration programs. So what are these programs going to be? We don't know yet, but make sure you subscribe to my channel so once we have all the updated news, you'll be the first one to get all the insights. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.